All right, my peoples. Welcome back to another episode with me. I am the Black opinionated woman, also known as a Bo. And because I was eating something and I still feel like I need to take another bite, I am actually going to play my intro because I want another bite. Hold on. I'm so sorry. Don't judge me. I mean, you can. I don't care. All right. Everything's alleged. I like good stuff. All right. Go ahead and subscribe. Okay, what am I talking about today? Mm, 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 mm. All right. I'm talking about why I am so polarizing. All right. Look, as usual, I come up here looking like what I look like when I'm just getting my chill on. I got on a really cute jogger suit. It is cute. Look at me. This color is everything. It's my old Nike suit. Got a cute little. Oh, I wish you could see the whole thing. I should have moved this back. This is a cute little jogger suit. I am everything. All right, it's 1:52. I'm leaving in about 40-ish minutes because I have to go to my son's playoff game, my other son's playoff game. Mm, 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 mm. All right, let me take this off. Sorry, I couldn't get it together. So I want to talk about why I am so polarizing. All right. If you came to my channel, if you're new to my channel, I'll talk about three things: Black woman, Black culture, and middle age. So I've got some little points today that I want to talk about because I actually had time today. I actually had time. Most of you who come to my channel, you know that I don't generally like to post on the weekend. It doesn't mean I won't, but I try to not because I'm usually running to multiple events. And as the spring season gets here, I probably will not post on the weekends unless I pre-record something. All right. Sorry. So you came to my channel. This is what you selected. And of course, I had to put, I am who I am. So, where am I going with this? A buddy of mine is like, hey, so what are you going to be talking about next? And I originally said, I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to talk about next. I always have tons of topics, but depending on my mood, it determines what I'm going to talk about. But I realized, I said, I'm just going to be upfront because I feel like much of what I say is polarizing. It doesn't necessarily align with what most people probably think I should say, right? Because we live in cancel culture. And I'm not saying people shouldn't ever be canceled, but in general, I'm just kind of like. But I realize I just need to be more upfront and honest. And so, whatever that means. And so, I expect people to unsubscribe as they should because this is my channel for me to discuss the things I want to talk about. And if it doesn't align with people, I totally get it. I totally understand. Then that means people should do what they need to do. So, where am I going with this? I'm going to talk about the first thing is I don't mince a lot of words. Earlier, when I first started getting on YouTube, I really didn't know how to YouTube. I really still don't actually. There's a lot of things you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to be looking at all your analytics and optimizing your title. I did not optimize this title. As a matter of fact, I threw it up in there and it was kind of like, there's a lot of things you should be doing. And originally, I was going to try to put out, let me take this off so you guys can see my wonderful. I was going to try to make sure that the videos that I was doing was trendy. And it doesn't mean I don't do some trendy things, but I feel like I just have to be my authentic self. And when I'm being myself, I'm not saying I'm going to go out of my way to be mean or malicious or any of those things, but I don't like to mince a whole lot of words because I don't have the mental cycles to dedicate to it. I'm tired of it. I'm just, but I want to get on to a couple of these points. Let me tell you one of the reasons why I know I'm polarizing. We're going to talk about number one, um, my stance on the whole trans woman thing. I do not believe trans women are women. I think trans women are men who want to be women. I don't believe that they could possibly know what it's like to be a woman. You can't tell me you feel like a woman when you've never been a woman. You cannot. I mean, you can physically say it. I just don't believe that trans women are women. I believe that trans women are biological men. And then we can deep dive on that. We can have another discussion on that. People aren't going to like it, and it's okay. So, but and the reason why I know I'm polarizing is because I know the extreme left liberal people are going to be like, I can't believe you're a transphobe. I'm like, actually, no, I'm not. I'm not scared of trans people. I'm not. Just because I don't agree doesn't mean I'm a transphobe. So we're going to stop the shenanigans. It's really that simple. I'm like, no, I don't believe in that. No, you're a trans. No, I'm not. You don't get to tell me what I am. Just like technically I can't tell you what you are. I can tell you what I believe. So if you think or believe I'm something, that it's okay. You are allowed to believe and think whatever you want. It doesn't mean it have to be true. Just like you don't have to believe what I'm saying when I say that trans women are men, because they are. I don't care if you want to sit here and try to split hairs with the difference between sex and gender, how certain things are a construct, because then we can actually deep dive on that too. All right. But I know my view is polarizing. I kind of feel like this. I mean, look, there is a space for men and for women, right? I don't care how progressive you are, men and women need spaces, whether we agree with the things that are discussed or how we feel in those spaces, but they should have spaces. And I feel like the audacity of you who's just like, I don't want to be in a man's space. I also want to now take up residency in a woman's space. So I now identify as blah, blah, blah. Like I said, I just feel like I just speak my truth. Okay. So like, no one would possibly debate me, if I said I was a black woman, right? Because I phenotypically look like a black woman. I'm trying to, is my light okay? Because I'm trying to do this right. Like I can't, hold on a second. All right. My cute little sweatsuit. I wonder if this is better. Should I turn this off? I don't know. Is this, see, I feel like I can't see. This doesn't look good to me. I feel like half my face is in darkness. I don't know. Hold on a second. Let me go ahead and close this. Lord. All right. All right. I don't know. We're going to have to work with this. So I feel like, look, people wouldn't disagree if they said, hey, is she a black woman? You'd be like, oh, yes, all the way, yes. But if I wake up today, I'm like, I'm white. Now I know it's not the same because race is also a social construct. I think much of what people are really trying to distinguish is between phenotype, but that's a whole other discussion. I think if I were to wake up and decide I'm now white, okay, and we know how whiteness is protected, right? I think people would be like, no, you can't. You can't possibly. I'm like, yes, I can. I can. I've got 0.000022995555, almost like a pi number of whiteness. So yeah, I'm now white. You can't tell me. I just feel like I'm white. I know it's not the same, but a gender is a construct, so is race. Now, that's just something that we can have a conversation about another time. Number two, I don't believe in indulging everything with my children. So all this gender identity kind of stuff, like, no, I don't believe in indulging that. I'm like, why are you spending that much time on that? There's something else going on. I don't think that's healthy behavior. You should be involved in some other things, lots of sports and anything like that. When you are hyper focused on your gender and sexuality and sex and stuff like that, there's something else going on. I don't believe in indulging everything. It doesn't mean I don't think we should have a conversation and that I shouldn't try to be more present or whatever. But I just want to make this clear. I also hold my children accountable. I surely do. There are certain things that may not seem to be popular with other parents, but I do certain things with my children. Absolutely. I'm not going to get into the shenanigans. I've shared some things with friends and associates, that type of thing. But I don't believe in indulging everything with my children. I do believe that my children have to grow up, and a lot of parents are hovering over the kids. And I'm not saying I have never done that, but there's certain things I'm like, no, I'm gonna need you to. mm, Like I know people like literally simple things like your children can do their own laundry and fold it. They may not do a great job at it, but how do you expect to get better unless you do it? You know, anyway, it could just be by virtue of where I live and people who I associate with, but I'm like, absolutely not. These children, I look crazy. Maybe I should have left my little bun thing down. I don't know. I don't indulge everything in my kids. Period. All the way. Period. There's certain things that these parents are doing, and I'm like, all these emotional blankets and carrying on. And you're like, oh, I'm like, you need to stop. But I can't say anything because it's like how you parent your own kids. I don't do that with mine. I want to talk about the state of blackness. Hold on a second. I did that. Uh-huh. Sorry, I had notes here. Blah blah blah. I'm going to talk about the blackity black blacks for a second. I'm going to talk about the state of the black family because I know there's this whole thing about like I support the black family, blah blah. Now I feel like two things can be true. You can support the black family, but recognize that sometimes people have to be happy. And what I mean by that is in terms of dating. Now, I'm going to sound like a full on hypocrite because I am married to a black man who, by the way, like I've said in other videos, we're going to both die at the same time. This is the same time situation. I just decided that I'm just going to live in this state of delusion because, yeah, I'm not trying to redate. I don't want to get back out there. Okay. But let me tell you something. Hold on. I love my little soda stream with I put strawberries in my water. This is the thing. There's a such thing as wanting to support the black family and that kind of thing, and I get it because it's fractured. But in the same token, I do not believe in falling on your sword all for the sake of taking one for the team for the black family. Meaning, like if I were um, a single woman out here in these streets, let me tell you something. As a full-on black woman, I would be open to dating. That just means dating. Period. Do I have a preference for a black man? Absolutely. Well, I mean, I don't know. Look, I'm not out here in these streets, but I just feel like, especially with the numbers. Now, I'm speaking in terms of black women. So anybody who wants to be mad, just be mad. The numbers are not in favor for black women. We're like one of the most educated demographics. But we don't have the matching stats from our men, right? Like our men right now, they are not competitive with other men from other races. Now, I said it. It doesn't mean that there aren't any. I'm saying as a collective, they're not competitive. Period. Dot. I said what I said. Be mad. I love black men. I just love men, period. But I have a preference for black men because I am a black woman. Okay. But let me make this clear. If I were single out here in these streets, my options would be totally open. So just making it clear. So if you were an Asian guy, like, because look, let me tell you something, as jacked up as this is going to sound, I'm like, I don't know what is in the water with some of these Asian men out here. They are getting built. I'm like, what is going on? I don't know what's going on. They're getting bigger, faster, stronger. I don't know what it is. Like, gone is a stereotype that all Asian men are small. At least not the ones I'm seeing around here. I don't know. It must be in the water. They must be eating freaking steroids like they're Tic Tacs or something. I don't know what's going on, but they're big. Uh, um, I'd be open to talking to Bob, Brad, Michael, whoever. My point is now, I'm a little tongue in cheek, but you get my gist. I would be open to happiness. I would not be falling on my sword for the sake of, preserving the black family, especially um, when you're not even held in high regard as a black woman. Okay. I would be looking towards whoever is willing to rock with me, whoever wants to uplift me, who I get along, who I'm gonna hee haw at, like whoever has like interests, who's going to make me feel secure and protected. And at that point, I could care less what the color of your skin looks like. Now, let me just say this. It's easy for me to say because I'm already married and my husband and I are going to die at the same time. It's practically chiseled in concrete somewhere. It just is what it is. I'm going to even go out on a limb and say this might even be a fact. I think it could be a fact based on my delusion, but it could be a fact. What I'm saying is, I know what I'm saying is probably polarizing, but I always say two things can be true. You can be in support of the Black community and the Black family, but who's to say that you can't meet somebody who you rock with, who can genuinely care for you? And this is what I say to people, especially for those who are in the United States who may be watching this. You got there's always this thing about white people. This is what I would say. If you're going to go out there and date interracially, I don't even have a problem with it. I always say there's a couple of things. So as long as you don't denigrate the race that you are part of, as long as you don't think that the race that you are commingling with or joining with is better than or is like the standard. And not only that, as long as the person that you're dealing with, you have an honest conversation that's like, look, because of the fact that you were born here and you grew up here, just recognize that you have these internal biases. Okay, you're gonna have blind spots. Actually, we're all gonna have these blind spots. And if you have an honest conversation and say, look, you're gonna have blind spots, and there are gonna be things that I'm gonna see that you don't, vice versa. And if that person is honest, it's like, you know what, I'm willing to get in the trenches with you, and I'm gonna rock with you. We're gonna figure this out. I would not be falling on my sword waiting for somebody with some skin tone to come around. And I'm not saying that other people are better. What I'm saying is everyone is an option, all the way an option. So that's why I'm pretty sure I am polarizing, right? Because as much as I talk about Black women and everything else, I just kind of feel like, look, we need to stop with this. Who's going to make you happy? Who is going to support you? And chances are they're probably going to have racist family members. Heck, a lot of Black people are prejudiced. I know I have prejudices at times that I have to work through. And everyone is a collection of their experiences. But you got to be honest. Now, let's get on to my polarization situation. I don't have a problem with Black women in general, Black women shenanigans, meaning calling it out. The difference with me is like I don't like to drag Black women. I like to just call out some of our shenanigans. Like when I feel like we are constantly just over sexualizing ourselves. But I'm not interested in trying to drag down somebody. I'm interested in saying things like, hey, sis, like, do we have to do this? Because you're more than your body. You have this talent. You're beautiful just because. I'm like, Black chicks out here in these streets looking amazing, gorge. So the difference is people who call themselves holding people accountable, they are in this righteous indignation where they feel like they have to drag people down. And that's the line that I draw. I'm not interested in dragging down a woman, a Black woman. I don't want to drag someone. That's disgusting. Like, who the heck are you? You can call out the problematic behavior. Like, you hate the sin, not the sinner. Like, you don't, because we all fall short. But I just kind of feel like I am not interested. Like, when you hear a lot of people in these talking points, the way they talk about the opposite gender. No, I'm live, honey. So I don't believe in that. Absolutely not. But I do think we can hold Black women accountable. We have to hold ourselves accountable. We've got some mess within our situation. But see, the thing is, I think people want me to be like bunnies and rainbows. I'm like, no, I don't believe in that. And if they want to cancel me, look, I don't even have a big enough platform anyway. I'm like, okay, I'm canceled. Okay, hey, look, I don't make money off of this. I really all the way do not. All right, let's get back into what I'm talking about. Oh, back to the Black people shenanigans. I don't believe in supporting all Black movies. I don't care if there's a Black person, whatever, or not, especially somebody like Tyler Perry. If it is not productive, absolutely not. I'm tired of these all the Black shows and movies, with the exception of I think like Bel Air right now, right? It's like it's always capitalizing off of Black trauma. the struggle love story, the gangster story, like the poor story, the slavery story. I don't want to hear another thing about slavery. I don't want to see any more gangster movies. Like, for example, I look at my husband sideways. He loves this show, Snowfall. I don't really care for it. It's like another movie depicting black people in a really trifling light. He loves that show. I'm like, I don't like it. Our music is trash now. It's like ridiculous. So I don't believe in doing it. I don't, this is the thing. I believe in, I don't advocate divesting, but I do say go live your life. So if that means you're with somebody who doesn't look like you, like I said, as long as you're not advocating that their racial makeup is better, or that the one that you belong to is lesser than, or that the one that you're going to is the standard, I'm good. As long as you have a conversation that says, look, just recognize that you have some internal biases, and they're willing to work it out and they're willing to rock with you and support you and uplift you, I'm good. As long as you call a thing a thing. So I'm not an advocate for divesting. I am an advocate for your happiness. I am an advocate for you being open to all options. So all options also include Black people too. But I just think that right now, a lot of people are going to be like, how can you possibly say that you're for the Black family? I'm like, if it makes sense, I'm not for creating more bad Black families for the sake of looking for some skin. Absolutely not. Because what you're not going to do is make my life. I'm a borderline princess. I'm a queen, like, right? Like, I've got a little bit of spoiledness going on. I like being spoiled. So whoever is going to spoil me, but like I said, I don't have to worry about that because my husband and I are dying at the same time. Like I said, it's chiseled in concrete somewhere that he's not dying until we're both dying at the same time. So I don't have to worry about it. But that's just where I'm at with it. So I know I'm polarizing. I'm gonna tell you something else that I know I'm polarizing on. Um, White women. And it's weird because there's this one person in particular, I think she's trying to like find a way to get back into my good graces and in my life. She is white. And I'm like, I'm not about the shenanigans. I don't know if she's watching this. She probably follows me on the low. She knows exactly who I'm talking about. Who I'm talking. Yeah, she knows I'm talking to her. But in the same token, with the number of white women who have engaged in subversive, nasty behavior, I still don't write off all white women. And actually, some of my better friends or closer friends happen to be white. They actually happen to be better friends to me than the Black people I knew. Now, I know I shouldn't say that out loud. I didn't even want to say that out loud. As a matter of fact, I had a conversation with my white friend who shall remain nameless. Um, and I'm calling it out for a reason. It's not that big of a deal. I remember saying to her, I was like, I didn't even want to like you. I didn't even want to be friends. Like, I'm like, why is she trying to be my friend? Because I wasn't making it easy. But we just get along, and she's such a super dope person. And I was like, I'm supposed to be with the sisters, because I got to rock with the sisters. And all she does is laugh at me because I know she thinks I'm probably a little bit cray cray. But I look at this, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that my womanhood experience is the same as a white woman, but we do have some commonalities, and we do recognize some of our differences too. And I think the ones that I rock with, they are aware of like shenanigans that are out there, right? They don't try to be anything other than who they are. I clearly can't be anything other than who I am because I have some walking ding dongness about me too. I might be a walking fist. I mean, maybe not a walking fist, like, fist with the pick on it, a pick with the fist on it. I don't know. Maybe I should go get one. I wonder how people receive that. Some old school picks. But the point I'm making is a lot of people will say things like, how can you say that you're friends with them? I'm like, because I can. I can say that. Because they're good people. Am I putting white women on a pedestal? No, because some of you white women out there got some mess about you. The shenanigans. The shenanigans. Okay. But my whole big thing is I feel like multiple things can be true at the same time. You can call out the sin at the center. I feel like as I've gotten older, I've just gotten to the point where I'm tired of categorizing everybody, even though we all deserve to be categorized. I mean, even when I talk about, even like with some of my Asian friends, like, we'll have some really interesting, honest discussions. We talk about the vitriol between the Black and the Asian communities and how they view Black people, how Black people view Asians. Yeah, we get there. We go in the gutter. But if you're honest people and you're coming from a space of like, look, this is where we're coming from. Like, you know what I mean? Like it is what it is. Call a thing a thing. And I feel like multiple things can be true at the same time. So anyway, getting back to what my thumbnail, let's go ahead and put my thumbnail back up because I'm self-absorbed. I am who I am. I know people are like, this woman has no sense. I am who I am. I feel like I'm going to be polarizing. But you know what? I'm not going to be everybody's cup of tea. I'm not. So you might as well, if you don't like it, just go ahead and unsubscribe because I'm not going to say everything that you want me to say. I know everyone wants this to be a kumbaya. I'm not going to be kumbaya all the time. I'm not. Mm-hmm. Nope. No. I think what was really driving me too, because in my YouTube feed, I was taking care of some such stuff. Finally got on YouTube. I'm like, oh, what's going on in YouTube? Because I'm a star right now. And I see things pop up about trans women, and I'm just sitting there thinking, like, I don't believe that. I all the way don't believe that. And I know people are gonna want to be like, if you don't believe this, that, and the other, then you're a transphobe. I'm like, you can say and think whatever you want. It doesn't have to make it true. You can say it 100 times, it doesn't make it true. Just like I don't believe the fact that you went in and gobbled down some or shot yourself up with some hormones or took some pills like they were Tic Tacs and you added on some prosthetics that makes you more of a woman. I don't believe it. And I don't care how many times you put a filler in your lip and you get your nails done. Now, I love the artistry of all of it, especially if you are engaged in like dressing or whatever. And I might be saying the terminology wrong, but I'm still trying to figure out if this is a level of appropriation or uh, cosplay and be like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I mean, like people will say like I am trans. Um, and I guess that means certain things, but most of the people who say that they're trans, they're still going out of their way to put on or do the most performative things of what is considered to be womanhood. Anyway, so look, I know I'm polarizing and it is what it is. And if you don't like the things that I'm saying, I get it. But I feel like I'm also open to having a conversation because we're not going to all agree on everything. That's what happens when you agree on everything. You get into these echo chambers. Look, I try to follow different people, and then sometimes I subscribe and unsubscribe. Sometimes I agree with some of the things they're saying. Sometimes I don't. Sometimes I will subscribe to people because I partially agree with some of the things they're saying. I don't know. I feel like you don't learn anything unless you hear different sides. But like I said, if you need an echo chamber, this is probably not it. It's probably all the way not it. Okay. So I guess my thing right now just happened to be for whatever reasons, this trans thing is like was like on the brain. So things will pop up in my feed. I'm like, what is going on? All right. It's 2:19. We're gonna be leaving this house in about 20-ish minutes. I gotta go to my son's his game, his playoff game. Um, that's where I'm at with it. Look, I would love to hear with any what you have, what your thoughts are. I know I just threw out a couple of points. I didn't deep dive on a whole lot of them. I just kind of like threw out points of where I stand on some things. I mean, it could be a lot of things. Um, but I like to just be honest. If you notice, most of the time, I try to be as I hate saying transparent. I try to come up here in my fully natural self, no makeup, no anything. And it's not that I'm anti makeup, although I do think like the whole beauty thing is a whole other thing, right? And the reason why I do this is because I feel like if I come up here as I am, maybe I'm more approachable. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe I need to go ahead and put on some lip gloss and do all of that and eyelashes up to here and all of that. Maybe that's how people want to see me. But I just feel like when I come on like this is who I am. And I'm speaking directly to whoever chooses to listen. All right. That was my talkable moment. All right, let me get on up out of here because I don't really have anything else to say. Black opinionated woman.